What up? What up? What up, internet? Who you are, what you be, where you at, what you see. This is Pop Cult Parent, your favorite podcast that talks about life, pop culture, and everything in between. And we're back again with another X-Men 97 review, the final episode of this season. We're gonna get right into it. My name is Mark M. Jones. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm honored to be joined by.
This is Niels RY. We have made it, y'all. We have made it to episode 10. And by the way, excited to have back for this special occasion, the one and only Gavin Ware. Gavin, I just feel like, at this point, you part of the fam, you part of the pop cult. So welcome back. We ain't gonna do
Welcome
no
out,
pomp and
brother.
circumstance. You here. You've been a part of this, but welcome back, brother.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all get me more excited to see every episode every time. So I appreciate y'all, man.
Nice, nice. But y'all know what time it is. It's the 10th one. People have been asking us for our opinions. What do we think? The episode's out. What do y'all think? And we're like, hold on, calm down. We'll get to it. We're not going to leave you hanging. Your old uncles ain't going to leave you hanging. But yeah, we're just going to get right into this. And Nels, do you want to start us off? Like, where do you begin with this?
I've been wrestling with this since watching the episode. I think where we should start is how the episode starts with Magneto and Charles. They had like a flashback. I want to say it was like Korean War, Vietnam.
I
Like,
think it's Vietnam. They
yeah,
just because the music, the music there's that traditional movie Vietnam soundtrack that has like the same 10 songs. It's like Creedence Clearwater and like the Jefferson, like Jefferson Airplane. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Vietnam.
and I can never place how old they are supposed to be in this show. It looks like Magneto has a Steve Martin effect, like he just always had
He always had that white hair.
white hair or something.
Yeah.
And Professor X been had a baldy. Like I'm assuming even when we see him in flashback in college, the brother is walking a baldy. I don't know if it's a cosmetic decision or a medical decision, but he's been rocking it forever.
Yeah.
So we have no idea how old these two are.
Have we ever seen Professor X with a beard?
I've seen, I think a new comic is coming out with Professor X with a beard.
Though.
Yeah. I think in the live action, maybe in the Matt Reeves joints.
Maybe the cartoon. He can't grow hair.
Didn't Matt Reeves do the First Class trilogy?
Did he?
Is
that why it's good?
At least one of them. I think in one of those movies, Charles has a beard. In one of those First Class.
Yeah, Days of Future Past.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a beard. Gotcha. Yeah, but I mean, he also had hair in those movies too. So yeah, no idea. But in the flashback, we're seeing them talk, and Professor X discloses that he's a mutant, and Magneto's like, or like Professor X says something like, I can bend people's mind,
almost
with my
bend
will,
their will,
and Magneto says like, I can metal bends to my will, something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm just curious, what were y'all's takeaways from seeing that exchange, before we got the intense psychic whatever that was between Magneto and Professor X, where they're just circling each other. It looked like when someone like in Highlander, where like there can be only one, and then they start to have a conniption. Like that's what it looked like. I'm curious what y'all thought.
I like when I went back and rewatched this scene, because there's so much good stuff in the episode. It's easy to like overlook this. I was like, yo, these might be some of the best characters ever created, and like with their dynamic. When they're talking, Charles is like, mutants, what if they exist, blah blah, and Magnus is like, well then hide. And what really struck me this time watching it, I watched it like a second time through. Charles says like, yeah, I've met mutants, and they're scared, and I want to help them, and they'll be feared. And Magneto stops. He's like, no, they'll be hated, right? And it got me thinking. And it's just the whole, like, what all this is about, what all X-Men and, these comics represent. Dog, fear and hatred are the enemy to everybody. It is the enemy to everyone. And what I mean by that is like when you look at like this conversation, Charles is coming from a place of privilege, a place of like not knowing hate and fear, and Magneto's coming from a place of like, no, I've seen people like we tried to talk to tanks. It didn't work out well. You know what I mean? And when I say fear and hatred of the enemy to everyone, if Magneto didn't have to grow up in a world of fear and hatred, just like if Charles and Magneto were on the same page, the possibilities, either one of their sides, right? Either one of their sides, if they were on the same page, and one of them wasn't tainted by fear and hatred, it's like they probably could make the world a utopia.
We've actually seen some of that in the comic books with the Krakoa era. So for those of you, I highly recommend, for even if you're a longtime comic book reader or you've never picked up a comic book and you love X-Men, I strongly suggest starting off with House and Powers of X. We even have an episode where me and Dr. Michael Stevens talk about it. Highly recommend it, because if you've been wondering what does it look like for Professor X and Magneto to team up, and what would that mean for the world, for the universe, and how would folks react to it? It answers that question for you, and it is glorious.
But on that, Nels, it's just like even people who are the haters, who are prejudiced against others, is like your hate is hurting you too. You're diminishing dreams, opportunities that could change the world, save the world, maybe even help you, but you're caught up in hate. And I was like, yeah, hate and fear are the enemy to everyone, because even Bastion, what Bastion is capable of and what he can do, but he's guided by hate. And I was just like, this whole dynamic with Charles and Magneto, I was like, this is amazing. Just like we've said it before on this show, whenever these two, whatever medium it is, movies, whatever, they don't miss with these two. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of bad X-Men stuff out there. But when it comes to Charles and Magneto, they don't miss.
It's they batting 1,000. Like seriously, it don't matter what the medium is. It's always good. We're talking about cartoons. You know what I'm saying? These are cartoons, and this is like some Emmy level stuff, like dialogue that's happening. So yeah, they don't miss. They don't miss. Gavin, what do you think?
No, I was thinking, I agree. The level of brotherhood that you saw in that, and the fact that Charles kept emphasizing, like, we differ, we always disagree, but we are always together no matter what. Like, and I think, Mark, what you were saying about, when they come together, we saw that with Genosha. That idea of this mutant utopia came from both of them putting their energies into one thing, which was amazing. But it's funny when I saw them flying in the air, when Charles grabbed his like shoulders and was like, they were I immediately thought of y'all remember Meteor Man, when they both grabbed either side of that last meteorite, and it was like and they blew. I don't know why that was my first thought. Right? Yo, come on. First black superhero at DC. Come on.
Why are we doing a Meteor Man episode?
We got to. What is the one? What is it when they both touch like the Vogue or something, and they start like slapping each other? And
the modeling book.
30 seconds. Thank God.
They start voguing. Yeah. that movie is amazing.
Real quick, shout out to Pentagon City Mall.
Yeah,
it's in that movie.
Yeah, that movie was based out of DC. Hey, look, for those of you who've never been in
Baltimore.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you look at the row houses, that's Baltimore. That's not DC.
You would know. You would.
Shut up. Yeah.
Inside joke, Paul Call. Inside joke. And the Golden Lords, is it Golden Lords?
Yeah.
Yep.
There's some folks who probably think gangs in DC are actually like that. It's not the case. It's never been the case.
Flat top Don Cheadle with a
flat, young
tiny Lester.
Lords, the baby lords.
Baby lords. Why? Okay, for another day. For another day, we'll do the Meteor Man episode.
the idea of their relationship, like, you know, Charles and Xavier seemed really solid. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
always rooted it no matter what. Like he was like, here's why I trusted my X-Men to you, and you know, here's why I'm here right now. I thought they're like that relationship that they played up, like you were saying, like give them all the awards. That seems so authentic, and you're right, they do not miss with their relationship. Every time they like need each other, they're there and they build each other up at the most like awful and crazy parts. And even when he was holding them accountable about what he just did to Logan, whew, like he still was like, I'm still here with you. You know what I mean? That part was poignant. You know what I
He did
mean?
say he meant to kill me, like, and Charles
He
had nothing to
did.
say. He was like, I
He didn't
mean, I
say
was
nothing
like,
Hey,
after
you know how
that.
Logan is.
he's like, well, it's Logan. Like, he wasn't going to talk to you. You know, you the bigger man in this
Yeah.
situation.
Oh, and welcome to the pop cult, Shannon Smith.
What up,
You
Shannon?
haven't missed much.
Hey,
We
hey,
just jumped
yo,
into the first scene.
yo, I was just about to jump in, just laughing like, yeah, you know how Magneto and Wolverine be, man.
You know how they
Absolutely, I
be.
agree.
I gotta say, like, if there's one thing this episode nailed, it's that brotherhood, like you said, Gavin. Like, I truly like I was questioning that friendship. I mean, I was on another level last episode. I went in on Xavier. I still kind of feel how I feel about Xavier. But one thing I can't deny, especially from this episode, that's friendship. Like that is like true brotherhood. Like, you know, the stuff that like folks talk about, the stuff that fraternities try to base stuff off, we got to see that up close and personal in this episode. Like they really nailed that, and I could feel the relationship between the two of them.
Showed up for real.
Yep.
And he was still like, so you deserve this. Like, I'm not just gonna not hold you accountable, like Magnus. Like, you still gonna get this work, but you know, you're my brother.
Why do you always defend our inferiors?
Yeah, that was deep. That was deep.
So right after that, we get Bastion like ranting and raving on his victory. He's got all the X-Men, I think it's Gold Team, like hemmed up by Sentinels. He got Sinister and Cable, and he's just like, I don't know. I'm curious how y'all felt about this scene. Like, I know he was like showering in his victory, but like the fact that like he picked on Cable, like picked on a guy from the future and was just like, yo, how many times did you go to Genosha? You know what I'm saying? Like all your future that you were trying to fight, did you ever think that I was gonna lose? Like just like rubbing it in. And he was like, Sinister, get him to talk. I want to hear from him. I was just like, dang, bro, why are you so going OD on Cable right now? And like, and Cable said 200 times. I take everything back I said about Cable. 200 times with a tear coming down his eye.
Hey, to be fair though, if that's your 200th time, he's coming. Like you don't got like a script. You don't got nothing. Like,
you know what? I bring it back. Sorry. It would have took Bishop
time?
2 times.
He did have a dope.
Get out.
He had a dope clapback though. He was like, "Yeah, but Bastion, how's your mom?" Like,
you got him.
That was tough.
Mama.
That was Gene. That was Gene's side. Gene and Madeline's side. That was Scott's side. So what y'all think about that scene?
I'll say this. This design I called it Super Bastion, and then when he's on Meteor M, Ultimate Bastion, those designs are fantastic. Like, bravo to whoever artist. Like, I was like, these are dope. Like, yo, like this dude looks like a threat, and he looks cool as hell. Like, he just looks dope. It was a little like, nah, like I won this day, like a little like mustache twirly. But like as far as he knows, like he's future incarnate. Like he is the future. Why wouldn't he take the time to, bask in his glory and his victory? But we never learned, dog. We all with AI. It always comes down to like the only way to protect humans is to protect them from themselves. Like it's always the same thing every single time.
Makes you wonder why we keep trusting more and more of our life and well-being to machines.
Just
Is they're gonna be like, y'all know every time this plays out in the stuff you create, we gotta come knock y'all down. Whatever, for another day. For another day.
No, it's like every time. I mean, the algorithm, whatever it is, they're going to be like, "Oh, viruses are bad, and this is what happened. This is how you stop a virus." And they're like, "Oh, humans, you are basically a virus." Like that's what's going to happen every time. You're basically a virus to this earth.
We're always the negative. We're never the solution in any of this. We're always the negative.
Yeah.
You know what I do like though? I was thinking about it. Everybody in this show this season had a chance to level up except for Beast and Wolverine. Like if you look at Rogue leveling up, you saw all her powers. You saw Scott opening up. You saw Jean with the Phoenix controlling the Phoenix in a way. You saw what's it called? Gambit level up and killing that Mega Sentinel. You saw everybody level up and like do some dope stuff, but you didn't see.
I have a reaction to that.
But you feel me though, right?
No, I do not agree. I have a reaction.
Where did they level up?
I have two things. One, I'll start with Beast. Beast flew a Sentinel to Asteroid M and stomped on Bastion with the Sentinel. I feel you, bro, because you're like, Beast is a whole, blue, whatever he is, with super strength. You want to see him throw hands. But Beast's superpower is his brain. The man begs with Reed Richards. I don't know how many times I gotta say this. He's a genius. That's his superpower. And he took a whole ass Sentinel and flew it up in space.
I love
That's
that
pretty
scene.
Cool to me.
I love that. I literally cheered at that scene. I love that. He's like, my family, and like, and then they're all on the inside, like, hey guys. Like, I was just like, yes.
What's funny like that? That was like I was just gonna say that was like for me like a low-key surprise because I remember sort of the scenes before that they had him and Forge working on something and I was just like, man, y'all ain't gonna have time to build a whole nother Blackbird to get them there. And then next thing you know, he show up with a refurbished Sentinel and like stomping on
like Ghostbusters 2, and they're just like
and then two, Gavin, I know you forgot it because once I say it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that did happen. Wolverine took out like 5 Prime Sentinels in the air before he landed back into the mansion. And it was him and Nightcrawler defending the mansion against all those Sentinels. And they did not fail. They were just out of breath. But they never got beat down.
I definitely forgot about that because the 9 and then 9. Oh, yep, nope, you're right. I definitely forgot about that.
Sorry, look, I'm your brother, man. I got you.
They did. But I mean, I felt like the way Rogue went through. Like, first of all, whoever thought of her fighting Bastion and the tears streaming down as she was throwing them blows, like.
His name was Gambit. Remember it.
Genius. That was such a powerful goosebump moment. I was like, get him.
Even before that, when Sunspot is like, oh man, we're gonna get it, guys. And she's like, look, the odds may not be in our favor, but what did she say? But the cards are always. Oh man, I forgot
something about like the cards always right for the X-Men. There's always a chance with the X-Men.
Quoting her man, dog, like taking the energy of her. I was like, hey,
yeah.
Go ahead, Shannon.
I would say,
go ahead.
Okay, no, I was gonna say one thing. All of that true, yes. One thing that upsets me about this though, I feel like she had the opportunity to defeat Bastion. She did that whole clap thing that like, the wind of the clap is what like knocked them back and this and that. Had she clapped his head, game over. It was like
Thanos, dog, go for the head.
For the head. It would have been over. I agree. It would have been over.
Yeah.
Rogue could have ended all of this. But you know what? It's all good. I'm not gonna give her too much shame because that was a beautiful fight. And did y'all notice they were fighting on the what's it called? Like the dark side of the moon, like the blue spot where like there's technically supposed to be oxygen. They've referenced this a few times in X-Men. Like I think that's where the Shi'ar elites and the X-Men had their like little competition where the Phoenix got blown up. I think it was on that part of the moon. So we've seen it before in this show. Just to give y'all a heads up.
Before we move on, when Bastion decides that humans are the threat, or he has to save them from themselves, we get a lot of cameos, right? A lot of like cameos. Get to see a lot of people. There's one in particular I want to talk about, and I don't think it's the one you guys think I want to talk about. This bothered me. We see Daredevil, right?
Yes.
Okay. Daredevil's in New York doing his thing. The world's going crazy. It is a major blackout, fellas, all over the world. What does this dude do? He stops, and I stopped the tape and I looked at it. He stops 3 guys, one with a 22-inch TV and a VCR, one holding a stereo, and one literally holding a garbage bag. You ain't got nothing else to do, dog? You don't got like this. This is your major contribution to the end of the world. Like, not today. You're not watching Harriet the Spy tonight. Not on that 22-inch color TV. Like, really?
His superpowers is that he's a ninja. What do you want him to do?
Doctor Strange is doing surgery. Like
Doctor Strange is a medical professional. He has a PhD.
Nels, it is a major blackout in New York City. I'm pretty sure there are better things you can do than stop a dude with a 22-inch color TV.
This dude is a white man who is a lawyer. He's doing exactly what he wants to do.
One dude literally had a garbage bag. He literally had a garbage bag. He's like, not today.
Full of stuff stolen.
You gonna put it all back. Put it all back.
Do you remember there was a blackout in New York in like the late 70s, and that created hip hop because they just stole all the records and turntables, and that essentially created hip hop. Daredevil was like, never again. Not again.
Never again. Not on my watch. Not on my watch.
Not in Hell's Kitchen.
I'm just like, you ain't got even Peter Parker's not even dressed up yet. He's trying to let me see what's going on. He hadn't even put on his Spider-Man suit yet, and the Daredevil's like, not today.
Hey, Peter was chilling. Peter had Mary Jane. He's like, damn, I hope somebody can fix all this. This dude is an Avenger. He was like, yo, there's a lot going on right here.
You better call the Avengers. That is not a Spider-Man job.
Yeah.
No. Bank robbers, mugging.
You know, Peter from the hood. You know, Peter want to be like, is now the time? I should just go up into that Walmart real quick, take a couple things for the room.
He's like, MJ's back. Yo, we've been eyeing that futon. I'm just like, yo, come on, Daredevil. Like you ain't got nothing else you could be doing right now. This is your contribution to the end of the world. All right.
He was going hard too. But also I can't help but laugh at like Silver Samurai. Every time they showed him, like every cameo, he's just menacingly just staring off into the distance. So at least Daredevil was getting active, like maybe on the wrong side side of history, but Silver Samurai was just like, what's going on over there? What they doing?
I do think this, like, that's the second time we've seen that dude just like staring. I think they're setting him up. I don't know if he's going to be a major, villain in season 2 or something like that, but I feel like that's not on accident. Like, this is the second time we're seeing this dude.
I feel like it was the first time was when the power went out, and then the second time the power came back.
He didn't even move.
Like,
He's like,
that's it. He was like, power's gone. Power's back.
I guess they were playing. All right, well.
And I want to speak on Wakanda. Black Panther wanted all the smoke. He broke the window. The Prime Sentinel's like, let us in there. He's like, no problem. Like he's like, yo, who wants these hands, dog? You in Wakanda, like, what did you think was gonna happen when you came?
It was
here?
like, I've been waiting for somebody to come to my door.
Let me break the window. Let me break this glass for you. Let's get it started. Like,
we have free healthcare for all. Free healthcare for all.
My man wanted the smoke. He was patiently waiting for all of it.
I love it.
They just back there.
Everyone else in shambles. running panic. Wakanda was like, "Oh,
Just waiting.
please, don't let them in." Like, like
They probably could have kept them out too. They were like, no, let them in, let them
yeah,
in,
let
let
them
them
in,
in.
let them
Yeah.
in, let them in.
Our
We
powers
got
out.
white people that we're allowed to kill.
Our force field is down. Remember?
Remember, they're machines. Go ahead, go to town. Go to town.
I love it.
Oh,
I love
man.
it. I was here for
All
it,
right.
man.
So going back to the Bastion and all that, we get an appearance. And look, I have to do my obligatory Gene is toxic as hell. But we get the Phoenix, y'all.
Yep.
We think Gene might be dead, and out of the water comes the Phoenix, and the Phoenix shut everything down, like literally shut everything down. Like got the thing on Bastion's head, used like a sonic like whatever a talon to like grab Bastion who was trying to escape and slung him down. And the one thing I want to talk about, and then I'll turn it to y'all. What she did is sinister. That's cold-blooded.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Cold-blooded. I don't even do y'all know the words? I don't even know what she said.
She said all this mutant DNA you've used to like tape yourself together,
Yep.
keep
Make
yourself
yourself
young.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, no, my bugs. Like
she said something like the Phoenix will purify you, something like that, of these abstrosities, and just like you can see the DNA coming out. I was like,
She did all that and snatched that Steve Harvey wig right off. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
and then Morph was there with a cup full of petty.
Yeah,
I was
so
waiting.
petty.
He was just like,
You look
like
the
bring him
same
down
to
here.
me.
I gotta throw
So
this
petty.
cup of petty in his face. Just like
Yo, you know what he looked like? Y'all remember Batman Forever? Y'all remember when you see Jim Carrey at the end when the Riddler had his mind all warped after he had the machine
oh
kind of?
yeah.
That's exactly what he looked like to me. Big old warped head, like why can't I
I'm
kill
a monster.
you? Yeah,
Don't
like oh no, my reflection. Yeah, when he ran off, that was kind of funny though.
Yeah. It was two things about that too. Like in that realm, one, I don't know if we overlooking this, but Storm. I
Yes,
loved how
Shannon.
Storm. It felt like how we were saying in what episode 1 or 2 with Cyclops. Like we were like Cyclops is psychotic now. Like I was like, that's how Storm was. Like when the Phoenix came out, she was like, like everybody else.
She hit
Everybody else is like
the Bruce Banner, like you guys are so screwed now.
But everybody else is there in awe. They're scared. They're shocked or whatever. She's just like,
she knew what time it was. She's like, oh, we're gonna be okay.
Hey, but hold on. How did she know? Last time Phoenix was around, everybody was in trouble.
Yeah.
And I feel like someone's like, I will take whatever consequence happens. It is what it is.
Hey,
as long as he get killed, I'm cool with whatever the
you know why,
outcome
Nels?
is.
Because no matter what happens, she knew it was about to be a show. She's like, whatever happens, this is about to be good.
Yep.
But yeah, but that, and then the other thing I wanted to throw in, so, and I feel like this ties into this. So as we said, you know, there's always little hints and clues in the intro. So now I'll say this. I don't know if this happened in episode 9. I need to go back and check, but definitely in this episode, you know how when they show the X-Men and everything, when they show Morph, there's always that scene of like Morph comes up and then they show Sinister and Morph looks scared and is freaking out and shooting around. In this intro, that did not happen. They showed Morph. That whole Sinister scene didn't happen in the intro. Like Morph does a punch or something like that. So I'm like, this was like a clue because I feel like in this episode, Morph overcame their fear of Sinister, and you can see Morph. I mean, Sinister was defeated, you know, but Morph played this. Yeah, played
Petty
this
is the
role.
cure to trauma.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, Petty is the cure.
Morph was like, you look okay to me.
But I thought that was so just dope and a little deep piece where they're like, even in the intro, that little fearful piece that Morph had was not there. And
it was nice to see because like usually in media when someone gets traumatized like that, like their only victory is to like kill the person or something. But like Morph was just like, you ugly dog. Like I can't like you ugly. Like
And Shannon, to your point, we do get a lot of hints on these like on like the openings that we don't even really realize. The Phoenix has shown up in at least 3 or 4 of the episode openings, and they were just spoon feeding us that like the Phoenix is about to show up again. So that, and we're gonna talk about Apocalypse at the end, but like they also continue to show a whole bunch of Apocalypse stuff with.
Yeah,
we'll save that for later.
I have a theory. Let me sip Beyonce's bathwater real quick. Hold on.
He literally, for those of y'all who are listening audio, Gavin legit has a mug that says Beyonce's bathwater, and he is sipping it. So please get that. Like, I just want our audio folks to understand what's happening right now.
I love the fact that things like that exist in the world.
It tastes like citrus and hope. It does.
With a little taste sprinkle of $1 billion.
Yeah, a whiff. No, so I do have a theory though, and this is like same as my theory with Professor X not being gone. A big theory. Do you all remember the end of the later seasons of X-Men when we were seeing the future, like, and we were seeing Forge and we were seeing the skeleton of Wolverine and everything? Y'all remember he was floating in the water and he had finally died over time, and they were like, it was like the continuous loops that they were talking about in that pivotal point. So I have 2 major theories. My first is we have not seen the last of Remy LeBeau. We are going to see Gambit again, like, and it's going to be
leave it right there. We're going to talk about it at the end. Just leave that part right there. We're going to talk about it at the end. All right, go ahead.
That's my other thing. My second theory is that there's so many fixed points that's why there was a scene in there where the Watcher was kind of looking at Genosha.
Yeah,
like you saw his big head in there. But I also think that we're gonna get a point where we see they're gonna try to give Wolverine his adamantium back, and for some reason that maybe doesn't work, but he finally dies, and that's why we have the skeleton. That's why Forge is still working on him over time, and that's why we keep having Bishop going in time. Like, you remember those episodes way back when Bishop just kept coming back, and it was like he would get older, and so would Forge, and they were still fighting the war between mutants and humans. You remember that one? I feel like they are setting that up because in that future, it's just Forge, Bishop, and Morph does die, and Wolverine is still like trying, kind of old, but he's still fighting in the war. I feel like they're setting that whole timeline up in a really dope, genius way. I would put money on that they're going to call back into that, and it's just going to tie all the way in.
Well, Gavin,
let's say the theories for the end, because there's a bunch. I will say one thing though, which is because I don't know at any point we'll talk about this. Wolverine getting his adamantium taken out, that's in the comic books. What typically happens in the times that this happens is Wolverine starts to have his bone claws come out, and like he's just like, and his healing power goes OD. I don't know what relaunch it is where like the adamantium comes back, or they had, like, that's when they like learn more about X-Force.
Doesn't Apocalypse give it back to him?
I have no idea. It might make sense. Thinking about the story that we might be going into next, that might make sense.
Well, one thing, Gavin, I'm gonna bring it up because I know I'll forget it. I don't think it's an accident that at the end we don't know where Wolverine is. I think that is a Kevin Feige note, and it's for build up to Wolverine and Deadpool. I think Kevin Feige was like, don't tell anyone where Wolverine is at the end of this thing.
We also don't see where Storm is.
Okay.
True. Yeah, we don't. There's a couple people, but I don't think that's on accident.
Okay.
Interesting.
Back to the episode. So after Phoenix and the cameos, we get Bastion. Oh, hold on, dog. We got to talk about this. Bastion grabs Cable, rips the man's arm off, and starts beating him. Repeatedly slapping the man with his own arm
Yeah.
and then absorbs the metal and turns into what you call a Mark
Ultimate Bastion.
and then flies up to Asteroid M, and we're gonna talk about that. I did want to give y'all a second if y'all wanted to talk about the metal arm beatdown that occurred.
What is it about Cable's arm that like it was like upgrade? Like what is it? Is it
It's future technology. So it's not even just that it's a metal arm, it's future tech. Like that arm comes from like technology that's like what 1,000 years in the future, something like that, something silly like that. So, you know, that's part of why this technopath is absorbing future technology. That's why he went OD after that.
Just cool. Just like cool with a capital C, dog. Like it don't get no better than that. Just like, but I'm telling you, I'm gonna feel a certain way. Like you rip my arm off and then you beat me with my own arm. Like that's some.
There was something personal with him and Cable. Like the thing he was saying, you know, when he grabbed him and he was like, make him answer me, and then beating him with his arm. Like did they have a future beef that we don't know about?
I think it's like, and Nels was talking about this a little bit, like the audacity of you to like try to change this. Like I am inevitable. You know what I'm saying? Like I am the future, and like what, you little future metal arm boy, you gonna come back and change? You ain't changing nothing. Like like
so it was more disrespectful, like just ultimately like I could leave, but I'm gonna beat you with this arm and level up.
What's the Jordan like? And I took that as a
that person.
I took that personally.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Shannon.
I was just gonna say, like you said, I think it's that, and probably because how annoying Cable must have been, because he's like, I am the future. This is always going to happen, and all these things from Genosha to this to whatever other points in the future, I'm still going to make it happen. But you always make it more annoying for me because you come back trying to change things, and it's like my mission's still going to happen. But if you wouldn't come back, I could just do it. But now, because I'm sure he's like, you tried 200 times. There's probably 200 different times that Bastion has had to like do something different, think on the fly. It got more complicated,
Yeah, Cable's on his one-time speech from Little Giants. Like one time, they might beat you 1,000, but one time I beat my brother. And
Yep. So Bastion gets the metal arm, turns into Ultimate Bastion, flies up to Asteroid M. The plan is to knock the asteroid down into the planet. Go ahead, Mark.
Before we get into that, can we please talk about the love triangle that is Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean? Because what I love about this, this really, Cyclops goes to an unconscious Logan, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, use my wife's like toxic love to come back." He's like, Logan, this is all we got. Like, to be honest with you, we know about this and we laugh about it, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to our marriage. And if you don't come back, I just don't know what we're gonna do. Like, this is all we got, Logan. You really need to snap out of this, buddy. Because
don't break her heart. Back. He said, "Don't break her heart, yo.
Don't break her heart, Logan.
That's your wife."
Yo, he's like, you don't think we know? We laugh, like it's our thing. He's
That's
like,
funny, yo.
Why do you think we live in the same house as you? Like,
our marriage hasn't been better since. It's glorious because of you.
Our marriage won't survive if you don't make it. So I really need you to pull through. I was like, yo, what is going on? Like, come back to us, Logan. You're the best thing that's ever happened to our marriage.
It's real.
Yes.
Why? Like, why is that your come out of a coma speech? Like, he's like, if you make it, my wife is gonna be so happy if you make it out.
And it's working. Every time someone brings up Jean, Wolverine just he started to heal a little bit faster.
Hey, that mansion must be the most toxic place to live on Earth, dog. It's just like
No, it's because Gene is toxic. All right, that's all it has ever been. Gene is toxic, and Cyclops loves her. All right, and loves everything about it, including her toxicness.
They gotta be into it, dog. Like it has to be a thing for them. That's why. Because if Jean was there, she would have like gave him a kiss. She's like, "Come back to me, Logan."
Absolutely.
And like Scott would be like,
I'm gonna just say it. I'm gonna say it. It's a thing for Morph too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna just say it.
Yep.
Morph was into it, and Morph made it happen. Morph didn't have to say that. Hey, Wolverine was already healing. Why are you like Wolverine?
He's on the uptick.
I'm just saying, Morph was like, "Now's the time. The world is ending. I love you too."
They said she can't say it, but I will.
I'll say it. Morph said, "Let me just look around. Let me just make sure." But you know what? Even like, could you imagine to bring your best friend back to reality? Like, I'm gonna turn into the person who's the most toxic thing in your life. That is gonna get you out of this coma. Like, poor Morph, just like, this is my friend, and
for all the X-Men who live with Jean, for all of them, she is toxic. She is toxic to a core. Man. Terrible. Anyways, Bastion flies to the media, and we've already talked about Rogue and Sunspot. Once Bastion does like a gravity pull, like Kamehameha, and then knocks them both into the moon, he flies back, and y'all, I'm just gonna say it. Two things. One is Cyclops the man now. I think folks like have accepted that. But then two, Mark, I'm gonna give you props. I think this was in our first episode of or maybe like in the animated, when we reviewed X-Men animated series. You said you want to see a Jubilee glow up. And this fight ended with Jubilee. Well, I mean, the Sentinels stomping on Bastion's technically how it ended. But Jubilee was the last X-Men standing. Used the new fire rocket destructo disc. And knocked it down. And it took her firecrackers to his face and shoved him against the wall.
She mushed him, dog. She was like
with firecrackers.
Called it.
I knew that hurt.
Yeah, she called it. She was like,
"Sound."
She said it's over. You're right, Gavin. She said it's over. Yo.
Yeah.
I've never seen
active. Jubilee got active. Loved it.
Never seen that before. Usually it's like,
this time it was more like a boom. And a pew.
Nah, it was dope. She definitely took that lesson from her older self in the I forget that guy's name, the green guy, the video game episode. But like, is Jubilee a problem? Like, is she?
Jubilee's
kind of seems like she's a problem.
Did you not just see what she did to Bastion?
I mean,
Bastion. And when she was in that video game thing, she went up with a AI Magneto.
Yeah.
Like Jubilee, low key,
like
she doing a thing.
No, but Nels, what you were saying about Cyclops, I feel like when they started this show, like in the writers' room, they wrote down their main themes, and then underneath they wrote Cyclops Redemption, and they circled it in red. Whatever we do, this has to happen, because even his fight with Bastion, man,
this is our North Star. Cyclops Redemption. That is the theme of this season. We'll build it out from there.
Yeah. Because man, his fight with I had to go back and rewind it. He's using his beams to dodge, and I was like, yo, this dude is the truth. Just so dope, man. So
They even hit the special move, the left, right, up, down, select C, and did the big
The
old optic blast at the
Yes.
end. Yeah.
I was
I was
wondering if
like,
anyone
yo.
else caught that. I was like, yo, that's my go-to Marvel Capcom move.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
those the
Cyclops is a
up, down,
go-to
select. Yeah,
just for that move.
that was dope. Yeah,
Dare I
he
say it
had it.
is the most infamous move on Marvel and Capcom? Dare I
Nails, I
say?
don't know,
Hey, look, I
man.
know I'm gonna get hate for it, but damn it, I
Ryu,
love
like
that move.
I
That is
don't
my
know.
favorite move on
I might
Marvel and
have to give you
Capcom.
that one. I might have to
It's
give you
my
that one.
favorite move.
I don't
I
know.
can't think of a
Hey,
more
I was
iconic
always
joint.
a fan of what was Wolverine's like Ballistic Barrage or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, just
And
go.
then Spider-Man's was Amazing Spider, and he's like,
All them
That's
kicks.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We
That's
just
pretty
gonna
cool.
forget about Rogue's aerial kick. We just gonna forget about that. I'm joking. like that is a finisher. Just aerial kick.
What
Gambit's
was
move was dope. No,
Magneto's?
no, no. Y'all remember Gambit's move when he would throw his like staff in the air and he throw all the cards in you, and then like it'll blow up,
Yeah.
and he like
Yeah.
that joint was tight.
Yeah. That
That
was
was
tight. That was
What did
tight.
Magneto do though? Like, didn't he do like a
Wasn't it
big
just make
ball
like
of
a
energy or something?
giant ball of energy you couldn't dodge?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that, right? Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I
You
think
know
thought.
what's
so.
funny? Like if Professor X was in those games, it's just and you just push him over. Like,
Hey, wait. Hold up.
He
hold up, stop.
you stop.
My children of the atom.
Stop it. Stop it.
They
I
were
don't like I don't like the direction of where this
breaking.
conversation's going. We're gonna stop it right there.
Think about
it.
So I'm trying to think. Am I just imagining this? Like I don't know if it was. You know, sometimes people make these edits and they're like, "Oh, it would be funny if this was real." But so I'm like, I don't know if this was one of those things or was this real? In one of the Marvel versus Capcom games, was there a special move like with one of the X-Men? I feel like it probably was like Cyclops or somebody, where like Professor X would do something, like he'd come out and like the person couldn't move or something like that. Like he'd almost like
I
freeze
don't
him with his
remember that.
mind.
That might have been a later one, like
That
Marvel vs.
sound-
Capcom 2 or
I think that
something.
might have
That
been
sounds
on
familiar.
the Sega joint. I feel like that was on
Okay,
Sega.
maybe it was on that one. Okay, but it's like, yeah, he wasn't a playable character.
Oh,
but it was
that
Yeah,
special
yeah.
that infamous Sega X-Men game that is unbeatable.
Yeah.
That game.
Yes. I've never
yeah,
beat
like
it.
a special move. He would like do the thing, and the person couldn't move, and so for a
Yeah.
while or something, you could like attack him or whatever.
He was like a side
Yeah.
character, like Iceman would come out and slide across the screen real quick.
Oh yeah,
and then
because
he
there was
would do
the
Iceman.
side
remember that?
scroller. Y'all remember the it was like you know how they had like the 4-player arcade games? There was like and it was
Yeah.
like they had Ninja Turtles, but there was the X-Men one.
Mhm.
I remember that, and like
Yep.
maybe Professor X was in that one because I don't remember him in any other games.
Iceman was, I think he was in Marvel Capcom 2, but Iceman, that like Iceman was so good. All right, let's move on. So at some point Beast comes down with the rest of the other team and they come out, and then it's like, yo, X-Men versus Bastion, like final showdown, and everybody's just gearing up. Rogue is like wiping the blood off.
Yep.
Cyclops got the lasers going. Jean getting hyped. Sunspot, everybody getting hyped. And and like what was it? Like Nightcrawler said, he truly is the future or something like that. Future incarnate. I would love if y'all could talk to me like and explain this scene to me, because it looks like from my perspective, once Nightcrawler said that, Cyclops was like, this is how humans feel about us. And Storm came in and was like, I 100% agree with you, Scott. And then they try to like rationalize with like staying with or like, you know, accepting Bastion and wanting him to be a part of them. I'm very confused about all of this, but I'm curious I'll tell you why I'm confused, and then feel free to talk about this. I mean, I know there's Magneto, but it's not like the rest of the mutant world is trying to hurl an asteroid to kill all of humans. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are humans out there who are like generally like
oh, I can like, I can like pull gold out of my hair. I don't know, like silly stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they're like showing the future, and they're just like, humans like accept us. Bastion is a problem. He is trying to turn the world into the new era of Ice Age. Why in the world do you see him as a future and want to accept him? Like, I don't feel like it's apples to apples. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see a very different situation. So I'm curious if y'all can I'm curious what y'all think about the scene, and what did y'all think about that, how they ended that fight?
I think it's I always give show I always commend a show that can end without like a final blast or like a because like it's hard to do. It's like it's almost easy to just like kill your big bad at the end. And it's like I think this is my own personal theory that the writers did it that way because that's not how we're going to fix our world. We're not going to do a spirit bomb. We're not going to punch someone at the end and like and everything is going to be fine. It's like we're going to have to talk. We're going to have to at some point like there might be some fighting. And maybe you do need to fight to get to that point. But at some point we're going to have to sit down and like figure this out. And that's my theory. Like the writers are like, we want this to reflect our world in a way, and we want people to have hope. We want to make an optimistic show for the future, but it's not always going to be like you can't just punch your way out of stuff in real life. So that's this like I don't know if that answers your question, Nels, but that's what I think they were trying to say.
That's a good one. I hadn't really thought about that direct thing of like, oh, this is how humans see us and this and that. So, but I mean, I like that view. Something that was sticking out to me was I feel like there's always this piece of this person who does evil is because they feel that people don't care about them, and basically they just need a group to be like, we care about you. That's not about the evil, to show that there's love for you no matter what you've done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's always interesting because I mean, even in real life, sometimes when like we know there can be a group of people that are doing bad things, horrible, but sometimes, we've seen it, someone will do something, they're like, oh, this was a lone wolf. This was a lone wolf. And so, looking at Bastion, I guess to an extent it could be like, Bastion was a lone wolf, like doing all this evil stuff. And if he just had a group that cared about him, showed them, this and that, then like maybe things could be different. So I was thinking it sort of went along that route. But
Shannon, before you hopped on, I mentioned I think the whole theme of everything with X-Men is like fear and hate are the enemy to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard one time on this podcast, someone said, I wish I remember what it was. It was like, hate is when, or no, anger is when fear meets helplessness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you get angry, when you have fear and helplessness and it comes together. And yeah, I think Bastion, that was his only answer. It's like his only answer is to wipe the slate clean, destroy, and no one's ever talked to him. No one's ever been like, I know Charles wanted to, but his mom was like, no, get out of here, you dirty mutant. So like no one's ever just like sat down with this dude and just had a conversation with him. It's just been like, you're the future, you have to stop mutants and they're gonna kill everyone and they're evil.
He also has like Nimrod programming, so like he got it in his DNA to kill mutants. So
I'm
again,
also,
apples and apples.
What is
oranges.
programming but like your upbringing and what you're taught?
I'm of the mind to say, I mean, when Rogue dropped Trask, was she wrong? I don't think she was completely wrong. I can't say that everybody...
I'll tell you what I can say with the utmost confidence, Gavin. The mutants didn't think she was wrong because ain't nobody stop her. It ain't nobody saying Trask.
Bro, why would you? Of people that just died. Like, so I don't know. I mean, I get that, they wanted to imply that there's hope and, we should try to connect with the humanity and everybody. But the guy was literally like, well, if I can't like revitalize, human evolution and make them the next generation of Sentinels, I'm just going to have the most like obliterating extinction level event with Asteroid M and take everybody out then. I feel like they could have just taken him out, period, and just been like, well, we saved the world. And sorry, we had to kill somebody. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you
Yeah.
this, Gavin. What's more useful? Taking him out or making an ally?
Taking him out. He was bred to end them, like literally bred to end them. Taking him out would be the best move possible. You know how Don Cheadle was like, or if it's baby Thanos, like I take him out.
I mean, you get, but like, if we're going to get into time travel, it's like, where does it end, right?
Well,
if you're going to kill baby like Thanos, there's always like, could you go back and kill Hitler? Well, how do you kill his mom? Do you kill him? Like,
if we're talking about just the X-Men as a team, that's not really what they do. If you look at like all like their big bad villains, like y'all, Rogue was built to stop all the X-Men, and she became an X-Men. You know what I'm saying? Like Angel, like when he got taken over by Apocalypse and became one of the Four Horsemen, he was built to stop the X-Men. And like they just like figured out how to like take care of him. Like there's been multiple folks who have like designed to like stop them that eventually become X-Men. So like if you just think about like how the team operates, it actually does make sense that this is what they were trying to do. Like, you could probably whoop our ass. Would you like to be on the team? Like that's
it's like, you
seems
said
like what
you
they
said
do.
Bastion was programmed or bred, I forgot how you word it, to do this. It's just kind of like what they're programmed and bred for, like to be unifiers, to have a like open hand, and there's a reason why these people are connected to Charles and like believe in him. There's a reason, like at the end of the day, there's a reason why like Rogue and Storm and Jean aren't. Could you imagine what if they were like down with Magneto? It's like there'd be no comics. It's just like chapter 1, we won. It's over. Like, that's it. Everyone go home.
I guess I get that's what they're supposed to do. I'm saying what I would do after all that he did. I might be like, y'all gonna have to give me this one right here, and maybe I should just join the Brotherhood of Mutants. I don't know, but y'all would have had to give me that one to save the entire planet. Hey, my bad. He had to go. Did y'all disagree?
I thought he needed to die. I'll be completely honest. I thought he needed to die horrendously. Like I saw him for what he was from Jump Street. You know what I'm saying? So no, Gavin, I'm sorry if I made you feel like you were wrong.
Oh no,
I 100% agree with you.
I was going to stand on that hill alone and just
I would have pushed Scott out the way and
think,
kicked him out the window. Like he needs to go.
I think it takes a certain individual to be a Charles, right? I think most of us would be like, nope, he got to go, right? But I think the show and maybe this property, like, you need people. If anything is going to happen, if anything's going to be accomplished, if we're going to grow as a species, as a humanity, you need people like Charles, or it's going to be the same thing. It's like hate begets hate, and it's just it's going to happen again and again. So that's why there's only one Charles, because most of us are Rogue, like or Wolverine. Most of us are Logan. There's only one way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like as you're saying it makes me think like, dang, like how many times do you have to be wrong before that right finally comes through? Because like as you're saying, there was like it feels like Bastion, like, or I guess if you just kill Bastion, it feels like that's sort of in the wrong, because like where's that thing of could we turn him into an ally and change these things? And then you find that, oh, maybe we were wrong about humans too, because because Bastion is basically like, you doing all this, you're trying to do this, and look, you're trying to defend humans and defend life, and look at that. They would rather see you die than whatever his line was. They would rather see you die than live with them or whatever. And at that moment, you turn and you're like, Dad, the humans did send the missiles to be like we would see y'all die than whatever you're cooking up to try to save the situation. Our easy solution is send these missiles and y'all die. And
hey, Shannon, though, to be fair, like I don't know what's going on up there, and
That's
there's a
right.
giant meteor coming to the Earth. Like I think I would do the same thing. Like Captain America was talking that he's like, "Sir, we don't know what can happen." He's like, "So what? What do we do? What do you got a plan?
Give me an answer, Steve."
Because it's still coming.
You see that giant rock coming down? Yo, I can't hate on the president. It actually makes complete sense why he did it. Steve's like, give him a chance. On what? Hope?
They try to like, they're like, I can't believe the president's doing this. I'm like, nah, like blow that up.
But in that moment,
T'Chaka didn't give any solutions. T'Chaka just gave a dope line and then she was chilling. T'Chaka, you got stuff. Stop.
Because you know, at the end of the day, he's like, at the end of the day, Wakanda's gonna be all right. We're gonna be okay. So
basically,
we're gonna be all right. So like, hey, whatever.
He's like, yo, I wouldn't do it, but we good over here.
Yeah,
we good.
Like, and I feel like he's probably like, I mean, to be real, we good regardless. Like, if you blow it up, even if it hits Earth, because we got the core of what we're made of. I mean, we gonna sustain this continent.
We plan for this. We gonna be okay.
Hey, Wakanda Forever Protocol.
Yeah. We good. And Gavin, and he sits back, eats his popcorn, watches the show.
Shield and everything.
Like,
you know they good.
We got our own oxygen. Like we good.
I can't believe you, Mr. President. All right, man. Deuce.
Good luck. Yo, the one thing that I wonder, living in this world, to consider is like, okay, let's say you shoot those missiles. What if they survive? You gonna have an angry rogue coming after you? That's the stuff you gotta weigh. As like an angry, we're like, imagine if, let's say Rogue is the only one who lives from that, and she coming straight for you. What you supposed to do? Captain America ain't stopping Rogue. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if we stop the asteroid, but only Rogue lives, at least we still got Wakanda still an option, and Reed Richards is alive. Like that gives us options. That gives us options.
There's some things we can think about. We can have some conversations.
We can figure something out.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I think the last scene is, of course, them eventually stopping the asteroid. And look, Magneto has had a lot of dope moments in this series, to be completely honest with you. I don't know why this was special for me in particular, just seeing like Magneto like come out of like when him and Charles were talking, and the solution was like they were fighting to be a family. Whew, bro, that was beautiful. And for him to come out saying Magneto lives, which is like a title of comic books. Like there have been titles called Magneto Lives when he gets resurrected.
Nels, the build up to that. The scene with him and Charles, and he's like, these waters, there's the waters of hate and suffering, and we all have them, but you have to ride these to meet other people. Like, I was like, dang, this is dope. And when he sees the boat, and he's like, others like Rogue and Pietro and Wanda, and I don't know who else was on that boat. Someone with green hair. Do you know what?
Oh, that's his daughter. Yeah.
Okay.
That's his other daughter.
We meet these people on these waters, and it's like, so it's almost like even your suffering, it's not pointless.
Polaris. Sorry, it'll take me a minute. Her name's Polaris. Yeah.
Even what you've been through isn't pointless. It's like it brings you to others. Like I just thought that was amazing.
I just have one question. Magneto lives. So how does Magneto live? He took 3 claws to the back through the chest, and he's still up here with a bandage around his chest. Like he's okay. Like that was Logan. Those were knives.
I've seen Magneto fight I've seen Magneto fight an army of Inhumans with no heart in his chest.
What was it like?
This
in
man can
Streets
do
of
some stuff.
what was the game?
So-
Was it Streets of Rage where you like knock over a trash can and there'd be like a ham with a bone in
Yeah.
it? You know,
Yes.
like that's what they just.
No, nobody wants to explain those 3 holes in his chest and how he's still walking around.
Because he's like,
Like-
that. Because he's
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
Gavin. That's the
I
answer.
thought he was dying in this episode. No, he was just out cold
He
talking to Charles.
he liked that, Gavin.
Yeah.
What you want to hear, bruh?
No, like
He like
was
that.
his
You act like
special
you ain't
healing
seen this man these
powers.
past couple episodes. This
His
man
little
disrupted the magnetic fields of a planet, bruh. Yeah, ain't no 3 little scratches gonna mess with your boy. Come on,
He's
man.
like, Logan, that
He
stings.
like that.
Owie, 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 owie.
He got scratched and
So-
took all the metal out of dude. Come on now, Gavin.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
He
do
like
it
that is
first.
the answer.
I'm gonna just say none of y'all answer my questions at all.
So
None
if
of y'all
we-
answer my
we
questions.
just
If we
missed
wanna
the
go for-
scene. We just missed the scene of like Rogue putting like Neosporin on his chest, like there you go. There
Or
you
we-
go.
Meanwhile,
Or we can cop out.
Logan over there dying, but Magneto just up and like,
and,
his power
and
is
Logan
the-
got the healing factor,
And
and,
Logan
he's like
has the healing
he's on
factor.
life support, like dude, like Magneto's up and high fiving, hanging out.
just having a whole spiritual journey with Charles. Like, you know what? He
Yeah.
tried to kill me, Charles. No. Like, and he wakes up and he's still good.
Acting
Nah.
like he ain't got a punctured lung the entire
And
time.
he gets back even that
Punctured
end scene when
everything.
he's
His
in the
heart just
desert,
like-
he just still floating around looking at Rogue like, you left me. Boo. Like, and he's still, come on, yo.
Hey, that
Neil,
what
see,
did-
you ain't saying that, yo. You-
See, no,
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great point.
No. What did Chris Rock say? If Robitussin can't fix what you got, like just put that tussin in there, boy. Just get that.
Let it simmer. Yeah.
Tussin. Yeah.
Beast was like, no, I got some Robitussin right here. He just look at Robitussin.
Hey, even Charles is getting carried, but here come Magneto. Like, come on, yo. Charles had them legs that he got from his ex over in space.
Leg.
He
You got
like
new
that.
legs, Lieutenant Dan. New legs.
He like
Magneto's
that.
up.
He like
He's
that.
that dude.
That's the answer. That might be a new Pop Call Parent shirt.
Yeah,
Magneto.
like that.
I'm like that.
I'm like
97. That might be
I'm
some
not
new
saying I'm
merchandise.
disappointed. I would have been mad if we lost
Robitussin,
him,
97. Get that tussin in there, boy.
Robitussin 97. You know, it
Y'all
was
want-
stronger back then. You know?
Y'all ready to talk about the ending?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what's going to be next. Maybe some like of our comic book head pop cult folks can like share what's going on, but I have no idea. I've never seen this like super weird future where Nathan Summers is there getting raised by like some randomness. And I haven't seen this, but I know exactly what's going on with like the ancient Egypt stuff. Like Abin Sur is Apocalypse. That is him right before he takes over Egypt and then just lives in infamy for the rest of history. Like this is like where he realizes he's a mutant. So I'm pretty aware of what's going on over there. But the X-Men Lost in Time, this is like this might be a storyline. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on, but I think I have an idea of what's going to happen next season. But I'm curious when y'all were seeing that. Oh wait, one other thing I'll name. We don't see Wolverine, right?
Yep.
We don't see Storm, and we see
Morph.
everybody else, right?
We don't
see
know where
Jean.
Morph is.
Yeah, we don't. So we don't see Storm, Morph, or Wolverine.
Jubilee and Sunspot too.
They're back on Earth. They're present time because
Oh, you're talking about like
Jubilee
okay.
got like caught out and Sunspot caught her, and
Sunspot
then
caught her.
they went to Forge.
So I feel like the image that comes to my head is I never watched the show, but was it It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Like you know where the guy is on that board like, connecting.
He's got all the
Yeah. So I'm like everything is moving, and I'm like, so I'm looking at 4 things here. So we've got the X-Men in the past, We still got a couple that are in the present on Earth.
Yep.
We've got some in the future, and then we've got some that are somewhere in time, just wherever. Seeing as how we haven't seen Apocalypse, I mean, until the very end of the episode, I'm feeling like season 2 is probably gonna be big Apocalypse. And it's probably hitting from all the angles. Like my guess is those that are in the past, they're dealing with Apocalypse there. Maybe their thought is we're going to catch him early. Maybe we can put him on this like good path to where he won't become the evil, horrible Apocalypse that, you know, that we know in the quote unquote present. Maybe in the present, I mean, you know, he was going to Genosha and whatever. Something horrible is going to happen there. I don't really know anything about the future, but I'm sure he got something to do with it, you know. And then even those that are in the lost in time somewhere, my guess is it's still gonna be something that's gonna deal with Apocalypse. Who knows? Maybe it'll be some tie-in with Apocalypse and one of the Kang variants or something. Because I feel like I know I was hearing about it, but wasn't there something where like one of the Kang variants, it was like couldn't really beat Apocalypse, but sort of got the X-Men to help, you know. So I'm thinking there's gonna be some stuff.
If
like
y'all, there's 2 things I'll name. If y'all have seen the end of Ant-Man, with Jonathan Majors was playing Kang, one of the Kang variants that you're talking about, Shannon, shows up. He's in like the ancient Egypt, like Pharaoh, like
Immortus
accessories.
Was that the name?
Immortus. Yep.
Okay,
Yep. Yeah. So that is a Kang variant, and him and Abin banged like they were cool, and then there was drama, and obviously Apocalypse won. The other thing to name is there is a series of X-Men comic books called Age of Apocalypse. And it's about exactly what you just described, Shannon. Like a whole bunch of Apocalypse, and just like present time, you're seeing if Apocalypse won, and it's essentially Magneto leading the X-Men versus like Cyclops and his brother, who are like captains for Apocalypse. It's a wild 90s comic book.
Shannon, to piggyback off what you said, I think it's gonna be. I think season 2 is gonna be like we're gonna have like maybe 4 different Apocalypse variants in time, and just seeing how they maybe they all know of each other or know where they are in time, whatever. But I think with Egypt, what I think is going to happen is the X-Men are going to get some realization that like no matter like whatever their interference is what makes Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't going to become what he is until like they got there, and if they try to stop him, befriend him, they made him what he is. I think Magneto's going to be like, "Hey, you a mutant? Let me tell you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you could, people always say if you could take a time machine and go back to like Africa or like North America, like, don't let these people in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what Magneto's going to try to do, and it's going to cause Apocalypse to be what he becomes in the future.
That's strong. You know, that I was just thinking about that because I was like, what if he is like, you know, one of those fixed points in time, but if he like is aware of himself. But also my question is, who sent them across time? That didn't just happen. Like somebody did that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it was just a random, like, we're trying to save, and Magneto's like, you know, forces all of a sudden scattered them through time. Somebody did that to them. I'm thinking that's a big plot point.
Apocalypse, could be Kang. That's some Kang type stuff.
Yeah.
True.
Who knows who it was?
Could it? Something I started thinking about. So y'all remember in X-Men the animated series? I don't remember any of the names now, but remember there was this like weird guy, like Bishop was on this plane with like this time thing, and there was this weird guy who kept being like, "You got to do this." He was like really goofy. He had maybe like dreads. Man, I wish I could remember his name, but there was like a whole couple episodes. It ended up coming back to me. I don't know if we want to look it up, but there was this like weird guy, and so Bishop he was like stuck in this like plane, like not airplane, but like this plane of existence or time or whatnot. And it was this weird dude, and I think Bishop had to complete some stuff. He did whatever going through time, and then in the end, that dude turned out to be like oh, when Bishop had did whatever, that dude, he like transformed into somebody, and I'm like, I can't remember if he was a King variant or just some other dude like across time. I know I sound super vague right now, but hopefully we look it up and we can pull it up. But
I
I'm
don't
wondering,
know.
like, was that something? Because this dude, he like controls time and does some stuff. Uh, I don't know. We can keep going. I'm gonna look it up too. 'Cause I know it sounds
I
super
try,
vague.
brother. I try to take your words and try to look for it.
Yeah.
Bishop, time plane. The internet had nothing for me. I have two more theories, and then like if y'all want to share anything, like we can jump in. So one is Gavin. I think you might have been no, Gavin. I think you just straight up said it. I don't think Well, I think Gambit's dead, but I think he's coming back, and I think he's coming back as the Horseman of Death for Apocalypse. Like, if y'all remember the end of the episode, Apocalypse is like holding dirt in his hand and he blows it, and there's a card. There's like a card. It's one of Gambit's playing cards. And he said so much death. And so to me, I'm taking that as Apocalypse, his whole steez, he's always trying to have 4 horsemen. And so I think the Horseman of Death is probably going to be Gambit. Will be a sweet way to bring Gambit back to the show. And I low-key just want Gambit back in the show. And it kind of aligns with some storylines as well. So I think Gambit's coming back as the one of the horsemen. So that's one. And then the other one is we're getting new mutants or Generation X or whatever the other team is of young mutants. There was a board that Forge had.
Yeah.
And it had a whole bunch of mutants on it. There were some that like we know of, like Colossus, Iceman, like some of the like the original Angel, some of the original mutants. And then there were like just some other ones there that we couldn't really see. I'm pretty sure Colossus's little sister Ileana is one of them. We already know Sunspot and Jubilee are on the team. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is just the young group of mutants, or essentially the new mutants that Forges, I guess, gonna be like the person who's in charge of.
Yeah.
So those are my two thoughts.
What did you make of, and I want to talk about that whole scene, but what did you make of Wanda saying off world?
No idea. I have
now
no idea.
This
She's
is
an
my
Avenger,
MCU.
so
this is my MCU tinfoil hat. Is Feige chiming in? And because at the end of Doctor Strange 2, there's theories that Wanda may not be dead. Is that like a big like let's leave this vague for future MCU potential?
Nah. No.
Great podcasting.
No. Shane, I have no idea who that guy is.
Okay, so
I have no idea who this man is.
So for those who can't see, I was able to find a person. His name was Bender. So like the weird looking dude, his name was Bender. He was in the X-Men series. He wasn't like a continual character. And I think the couple episodes, it was maybe called like Beyond Good and Evil. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. Still vague.
I think he's actually supposed to be a Mortis. I think he was just a Mortis in disguise.
Yeah, Immortus in the Sky. So yeah. So I mean, it may all come back to Immortus, but even with that, I was like, that was like a weird thing because that was somebody who was like had all this control over time and stuff. But anyway, we'll see. I thought I was making a deep cut. And now I'm confused myself. So.
But back to that scene real quick. Like Cable comes into that scene like I've been there, done that. It's just that his attitude and his demeanor is like, this ain't my first rodeo. Like he knows how this is gonna play out, and he's just going through the motions because he
Bishop,
has to
right?
have this. Yeah, like it's like he seems like he's like, I gotta have this conversation with you. We've had this conversation tons of times, but it has to happen to make this happen, to make this happen. And like we said, like, everyone's been asking about Bishop, and like he finally shows up at the end conveniently, right? Like everything's done. He's like, well, here I am.
Jeff said, "My name Bennett, I ain't in it."
Yeah.
Like he was like, he didn't want those problems. He was like, "Yo, world going crazy. I ain't want to do nothing with that. I'll come in afterwards though. We'll have a conversation." Yeah. Any other theories or thoughts on what's going to happen next season?
No, man, this has been a great experience, man.
Excellent.
This show, like this, I was like, this show made me look forward to like Wednesdays. I was like, oh, it's Wednesday, like the new X-Men. And even Disney knows what time it is because they've sped up the production. Like animation takes a long time, but like this show will be back in 2025. Like,
That's
like
amazing.
that's
That's
crazy.
amazing.
That's crazy, you know. So they know what time
It took them about 3 years to get this show.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, you're gonna get it next year. Please
And
keep our subscriptions.
my theory behind that also is I think they looked at Amazon. Amazon lost a lot of steam with Invincible. The whole like they put out what 2, 3 episodes and they're like, we're gonna take a 6 week break for whatever reason. And they lost a lot of momentum with Invincible. And I feel like Disney's like, we're not doing that. Like,
Yeah.
we're keeping this train running.
Yeah. And I think it's a smart approach.
Yeah, no, it is.
And then the only thing I want to bring up, the Spider-Man Mary Jane cameo. And I think this opens up to the Spider-Man 98 reboot. And I want to ask you guys, because at the end of that Spider-Man show, it ends with Peter and Madam Web looking for Mary Jane. But yet here, Peter and Mary Jane are together. So did he find Mary Jane? Is this that same Spider-Man? Is this the same universe, a different variant?
It was before she got taken. You know,
How do you know
Spider-Man, like X-Men ended before Spider-Man ended. So I think
When did
timeline
Spider-Man
wise,
end? 98?
I think 98, yeah.
Yeah,
And
because then
so I
Ultimate
think
came out.
timeline wise, Mary Jane is still
Ah.
around. Now, if it was Mary Jane or the clone, who knows? But like Mary Jane was still around.
Ah, okay.
That's what I think was going on.
Ah, okay, okay. I see what you're saying. Nah, nah. Nice, nice. Flash Thompson was in there too. No, I like that.
Yep.
That's a
Salty.
good. I know.
Salty. Shannon, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, what was it? I think it was just going to
You're going back to Bender. You're like, the
Yeah,
dude's
yeah.
like, I found more information on Bender.
yeah. So I found the voice actor who did Bender, right? Had not. But no, for me, you were just like any more thoughts on this, and it's been sort of said, but I think this is, I'll just say it for me because I'm gonna go in. I think this is the best animated series I've ever seen. And I'm a ask because I know how some of us feel. Invincible is amazing. I think it's better than Invincible. It is but I, like you said, it would have me looking toward Wednesday every week. I was actually like, dang, now that it's over, like, what do I do? Like, I know I can stretch it out a couple more weeks because I can like watch the episodes and I know we're gonna keep talking about it, like even just amongst ourselves, but like, what do I do after like 3 or 4 weeks though? Like, what so but yeah, no, amazing. And I just love the attention to detail that they did in this. I mean, because we mentioned it, the little clues they put in the intros, the callbacks to episodes that happened like over 20 years ago. The way that they have us thinking, if this happened, I don't think this has ever been done. If this were to happen, this would be amazing. Like, I really am like, I hope this Wolverine is the same Wolverine that's in Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, is there going to be some tie-in, even if it's not that? Is it going to obviously and directly tie in to be like, you saw the X-Men cartoon, X-Men 97, and you see this movie, this is how it ties in. And from a standpoint, I don't know how production and stuff costs, but I think it would be much cheaper to do that if you make some amazing animated Disney shows, Marvel Disney shows that are cartoon, and then tie them into movies, like live action movies as well. it would probably be a lot more cost effective than like, you know, how Marvel was making all these live action shows, and they've cut back because it was like, let's be real, they weren't that good after a while. So
yeah.
like
Well,
if
Shannon, I love that theory. Because I'm a fan of animation. I
Mhm.
want to say I think it's cheaper to produce live action
Oh really?
than it is animation. And if it's not cheaper, it's quicker.
Mhm.
It's a lot quicker. So I don't know, but I do think it's no accident that we don't know where Wolverine is, and the way Loki season 2 ended, like, just kind of gives you free range to do a lot of things, and I don't think it's an accident either that the what is that group in Loki? The
Timekeepers, is that what
is
it
it the
is?
TVA?
Yeah.
That they are in Deadpool. Like that's not an accident. So, I think we're dealing with a lot of branches, a lot of things. Um, but Shannon, like, greatest animated show of all time, I can't meet you there. Like, this is great. This is absolutely fantastic. But there's a lot of quality animation out there that I'm not ready until the dust settles. I'm not ready to say that yet. This is up there. This is up there though.
Can we actually peel it back to like the conversation might be greatest animated superhero show?
So I was on the other side of that before, and I said Invincible was better. Now that the season is over, and we've had 2 full seasons of Invincible, one of X-Men 97, I will say the craftsmanship put into 23 minutes per episode far outweighs what's in Invincible. I can say that. And I was saying Invincible is better. I'll also say that I was so glad that they stretched out that last episode to about 40 minutes, 45 minutes
Yeah.
instead of the traditional 22. That was fan service, and that was storytelling, and that was leading us in. I appreciate all that. I will say, Shannon, I think this is like Invincible, X-Men 97. There's the amount of detail, the amount of like nostalgia, the amount of careful storytelling that you were mentioning. They pulled in storylines from years ago, and it was just so well done. I have to agree. This is one of the best animated joints out right now, hands down. If not just for its nostalgia, but also because it hits every note and it levels up in the most like the best way to age any kind of storytelling since Harry Potter. I don't know. Like I feel like it grows with us. You know what I mean? Like 97 or the old X-Men was for us, and now as adults it seems just as appropriate, if
Yeah.
not, even more so.
So Nels, I want to put you on the spot. Are you ready to say that this show is better than Batman the Animated Series? Is better than Justice League Unlimited? Is better than Spectacular Spider-Man? This show is better than those shows?
I think this show is in the conversation to all of those shows.
I'll give you that. You can have the
and
conversation.
and right now, it's probably under Justice League Unlimited. Like kind of under Justice League Unlimited. But give this show another season and I might put it over Justice League Unlimited. Like that's how great I think this show is. I think this show is I think this show is amazing.
Justice League Unlimited.
I know what I'm saying, Mark.
The show that gave us the Batman Beyond epilogue.
Yes.
The show that gave us Cadmus.
Yes.
Versus the Justice League. You're willing to say that this might be better than that?
Yes. Yes, because we've never seen the X-Men done this well. Ever. Not even from the original X-Men animated show. We've had 5 successful X-Men cartoons. Successful X-Men cartoons. And this is the best one. We've had 7 X-Men movies, and this is the best one out of all of those movies. And X-Men is one of the top properties ever. And we're getting the best story from it. So yes, I will put it in running with Justice League Unlimited. And I didn't say it was better.
I didn't say you said it was better. I didn't say you said it was better. I just want you to understand what you're saying.
I
just
understand
want you to
what I'm saying.
What you're saying. So is it better than Batman the Animated Series?
think so. I think it is. I think, and I know how wild that is. I might feel differently.
I think you
a
got
month from now because I just watched 10 like the season finale right now. But like, it might be. It might be.
Wow.
Dog, that's wild. I think you gotta let the dust settle. You need to
Okay.
go back, and I think you owe Bruce Timm a big apology in a couple months because this show's amazing.
Y'all remember after I finished watching Spider-Man 3, I almost said it was the greatest movie of all time. So yeah, maybe the dust needs to settle. I might feel differently next episode. But yeah,
Wow.
right now it's up there in my opinion.
I don't know, man. That's Kevin Conroy.
Yeah,
That's Batman.
yeah.
It will leave its mark, right? It will leave its place in history. When the dust is settled and this story finishes, I have no problem with the people like discussing why it's the best, right? Blanket statements that it's the best. No, you're gonna have to explain yourself. But you want to have a discussion why it's the best? I'm all ears.
Agreed. Anything else, y'all? Mark, where are you putting it real quick?
And what, like of animation shows?
Animated superhero shows.
I mean, it's up there. I don't think it's better than Unlimited. I think we've had discussion, man. I think Unlimited. We've talked that all James Gunn needs to do is take the Unlimited stories and just make them live action.
Make it live action.
Like, that's all you got to do.
That's it. Easiest job in the world, and he's not gonna do it. But whatever.
It's up there, man. I don't think I could put it over Unlimited and Batman the Animated Series right now. But if you want to put it over like everything, you want to put it over Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, the original X-Men, that makes sense to me. I wouldn't think you're crazy for doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all.
But Shane, the animated shows, that's a
Well,
you got some work to do.
Yeah, I did say
you got
Bluey. That's Bluey.
Bluey, you got a lot of work to do there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I did say animated shows, and I was not thinking full animated.
Samurai Jack, Star Wars, the Clone Wars. Like, there's a lot of work to be done to get on that list.
Where we last question, and I'll be quick, and we'll close out the show. Would one of the what's the guy who made Samurai Jack?
Gendy Taraf, I can never say his last name. Tarafkowski.
Would any of his shows be over Justice League Unlimited?
Oh man, Samurai Jack's a work of art in itself.
Samurai Jack is beautiful.
Primal is dope, but
Primal is amazing. I ain't putting it over Justice League Unlimited though. Primal's great. It's great, but I ain't putting it nowhere near there.
It's almost like his shows are like Kendrick albums. Like, it's like once in every 5 years, but they're fantastic, and they just need to. We don't need to compare them. They just need to stay where they are. Just like once every 5 years, just make art, and we'll be happy. I don't need to compare you to no one.
Mutual friend. I'll just name Symbiotic Titan.
Symbiotic Titan, like, yeah.
Gone too soon.
Spot on analogy.
Gone too soon. Yes. All right, y'all. Thank you all for your time and this journey that we have, which is X-Men 97. We will be back. If y'all hey, look, season 2, Pop Cult, if season 2 comes out and y'all like, yo, we want more, we'll come back. We'll come back and we'll give it to you.
Assemble.
So thank you all, Pop Cult, and thank you for listening.
Yes.
We have a new episode every month. You can find us on all social media at Pop Cult Parent, POPCULTPARENT. Visit us at www.popcultparent.com. Become a member of the Pop Cult at our Patreon, patreon.com/popcultparent, where you can see all of our full video episodes. Email us at popcultparent@gmail.com. Don't forget to rate us, review, and subscribe. And as always, join the cult. Peace.
Magneto lives.
We out.